You're listening to the 49 Carats Podcast, a 49ers Goldmine production with Stephanie Sanchez.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the 49 Carats Podcast. I'm your host, Steph. It is Thursday, October 3rd, or should I say Brocktober 3rd? I'm going to be overusing that term like all month. I just hope you guys are ready for that. But thank you, everyone that tuned in for this. As always, on a Thursday, joining me to talk about the 49ers is Monica of Football is Sexy. How you doing today, Monica?
Good morning. Let's do it. Let's smash that like button and that subscribe because Steph always brings it. Thank you for having me.
And everyone that's tuning in, make sure you put our hashtags in the chat. Hashtag 49K, hashtag FIS for Football is Sexy, and TTT for Trash Talk Thursday. It's Trash Talk Thursday today. But, Monica, last week we were feeling a little hesitant about the 49ers, right? And what they were going to look like against the Patriots. Of course, that was because they lost the previous two games. Now, I know the Patriots pretty much a punching bag for the rest of the league right now. They're just not a good team. But I think we feel like the 49ers did what they needed to do, right? Did this win kind of give you a sense of optimism, or did it just kind of give you a, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Let's move on kind of feeling.
Yeah. I wasn't too excited. In fact, I'll be honest, I didn't watch that game the way I normally do. I watched that game with a different lens. This is a statement game, and it wasn't. I wanted it to be a statement game. It still was a lot of stuff to clean up. And I think the 49ers feel the same way. Yeah. But they knew they needed that W, and we can build on that, right? We can build on that, but you didn't go out of that game going, yeah, we're back. That wasn't the vibe in my household, by the way. Maybe somebody else thought. I didn't come out of there like all excited. It was it was more like one of these, thank God we won, and thank God we don't have major injuries. We did have some injuries, but nothing that is life-threatening. As you know, a lot of people didn't practice yesterday after that game. So to me, it was one of those, thank God nothing crazy happen, and let's move on.
Let's move on. I think that's the big thing. I'm with you. It wasn't an impressive win by any means, but a win is a win, right, like they said. But you know what? I think there's one aspect of it that was impressive to me, that has been impressive through this season, and that has been Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy continues to be the silver lining of any game, even the ones where they don't quite look all the way together, even if they win, right? And there's other guys who play well. Brock Purdy has kind of been the main point of optimism for me. And I feel great about what he's doing. What he's doing is he's doing different things than what he was doing before. So I'm excited to see how he builds on that throughout the season. I think the fact that McCaffrey hasn't been there has kind of changed the way this offense is being played. But Brock's rolling with it, he's going for it and raising the ceiling of this offense, with his legs, throwing downfield, looking for open guys. I've just been really impressed by him. So yes, there are some things to clean up, including on the offense. I'm not saying that they don't, but Brock has looked really great through the first 4 weeks of the season.
Absolutely. And he's leading the stats in almost every category, including if I'm not mistaken, over 20 yards. He's leading the stat on completions. So I agree 100% with you. He's really showing who he is as a leader and as a quarterback in this league.
So I saw this tweet from Brett Coleman earlier that, just kind of pointed out what Brock is doing right now. And, he hasn't had CMC this year. Debo and Kittle have been banged up. They missed one game together. Purdy is first in yards per attempt among all starters, 4th in ADOT, so average depth of target, 11.2. 4th in big time throw percentage, 20th in turnover worthy plays. And for turnover worthy plays, you want that to be on the on the further end. You don't want to be high on that. So that is the thing. And so yeah, we're seeing some great things from him despite things not being all the way perfect on the offense. And so I think we're kind of feeling a little validated right now as 49er fans, because we've been saying like, no, like guys, he is a good quarterback even outside of the Avengers, right? Like even outside of the weapons he has, even outside of, what Kyle Shanahan is able to scheme up. Him extending plays like with his legs, escaping the pot, like that's all him. Like that's definitely not a product of Kyle Shanahan alone, right?
Yeah.
So I think people are finally, I think, starting to see that, and it's validating.
It truly is. And like I said, to watch him, like you say, even extend the plays, he's looking like some Hall of Fame quarterbacks. And I've said that from the beginning. If you watch him, and don't forget about this, and this started like the first time he started, the calm that he has in that pocket, the calm, the confidence, I just think it's going to carry him to an amazing career in this league. On top of all the mechanics, he has the mental component, which I always love to talk about. He's just, you don't see, remember Happy Feet? We don't have Happy Feet. I'm sorry for all you.
We didn't even say his name, but I think we all know.
I know. I'm sorry. I don't want to bring it up. It's like PTSD. But the truth is, we've had quarterbacks where they drop back and you're literally holding your breath because you're just like, you almost are like, this is not going to go well. And we don't have that anxiety with Brock. It's that is the most like exciting feeling, I think, that we can take away from what's going on right now. 100% agree with you. Like, Brock is who we thought he was. And I will stand by that. At 6 feet, whatever it is, that's my dude.
But like he said, he has a faster 10-yard split than CMC and Debo.
There you go.
That's crazy. He's got wheels. I do love that about him. And even when he's running, like, I'm not nervous, right? So like, I trust him. I trust him when he's back there. It's been a great feeling for all the times that he's started for this team to know that we have that. But Monica, there have been people starting the trade talk chatter. The one that has really started it up has been Davante Adams on the Raiders side of things. It seems like a trade is imminent. Like, it's only a matter of time. That's what it seems for Davante Adams. And the trade deadline, I believe, is November 7th, if I'm not mistaken. So a little over a month from today. Today's October 3rd, but that won't stop us from talking about some trade scenarios, right? What I want to discuss, though, is 49er fans, even till this day, feeling like the 49ers should trade for Davante Adams. Let me get, before I chime in on this, let me get your thoughts.
We're so crazy. That's what I'm going to say. We're so crazy that Niner fans, like, we have no chill. We're like, oh, go get him. Like, nobody looks at salary cap. Nobody looks who we already have. Like, everyone's just like, get him. We want him. And some people are like, no, we already got our own problems. You know what I mean? I think that absolutely not. I don't think had we signed maybe a 1 year with Brandon, maybe. But the fact is, after everything we went through and we signed Brandon, I say that's a hard no, like Leon just said, right? I just don't see it. I don't even see it as a slight possibility. I was shocked that people were saying that. I'm like, what is maybe they know something I don't, but I'm like, didn't even cross my mind. All that crossed my mind was, God, please don't put him on the Chiefs. I beg of you. Like, don't put them on the Chiefs. That just because I don't even want them to have more excitement, if nothing else. You know what I mean? Like, don't put them on the Chiefs. And I feel like the perfect fit, to be honest. and it would be such a good storyline. I go ahead and give him to the Jets because I don't care. Because the Jets, like, I just don't see them making it very far. Right. Like, send them back to Aaron Rodgers, have a field day, go at it. I don't care. And for those that might be, I mean, most of your people know, but you know, they were together in Green Bay. So it would make sense that they could both end their career as a Jet with no Super Bowl. I mean, was that too harsh?
I mean, I mean, it's the truth. You're saying the truth for sure.
So I get in trouble, Steph. I get in trouble for this stuff.
Terrence, did he really list the 49ers as a preferred destination? I don't think he did.
Really?
I thought he mentioned the Saints and Jets, I think, have been his preferred spots. So no, I haven't heard anything about him wanting to come to the 49ers. If he did, I'd understand it, but that doesn't mean the 49ers should, reciprocate that and want to trade for him.
But can we talk about, we talk about this, Steph, is like, let's talk about Davante Adams for just a second. Like, everybody in every resentment, like, we have a part. I'm very big on that, right? So, like, Davante, you left Green Bay because I get it. I'd be so mad at Aaron Rodgers. In fact, it's the only reason why if I'm him, I might not go to the Jets. I'm like, dude, you screwed me once. I ain't getting screwed again because I don't know where you're going to be next year. Like, I don't know. But like, I think left because he didn't have the certainty of what the hell Rodgers was going to do. Remember when he was holding Green Bay hostage, like not letting him know whether he's going to stay, whether he's going to go, like nightmare. So I don't know if I'd want to put my end of my career in Rodgers' hands, which is virtually what you're going to do, right? You have to be on page with the quarterback and the team that you choose. And you chose the Raiders, my friend, who is
of all teams.
Of all fucking teams. All teams.
Grass ain't always greener, and it certainly ain't with the Raiders.
You chose the Raiders.
And
I say that not to be disrespectful. I say that you're looking at an organization who's hasn't quite got it together. Your quarterback is Minshew. You signed Jimmy G before he was even evaluated, and he had major physical issues. Like, there's so many things that the Raider organization, whatever. My point is, you have to also take some accountability, my brother, that you maybe didn't think it through. That's all.
I mean, absolutely, he didn't think that one through. I mean, I think he was thinking a little short-sighted. Clearly, I think he wanted to be back with Derek Carr, have that connection again. One seat, like, that's what I'm saying, short-sighted. Like,
that's right.
Did you not think about the fact that Carr, like, the Raiders might not extend Carr? Like, was that not a rope? Like, that was already a possibility before Davante Adams was even traded there or signed there. So
good point.
I thought that was a little
and again, Steph, I get it because they're buddies, right? But from an outsider lens, like, Derek Carr is not him.
Right. It's like he's not a world beat. Like, he's not Aaron Rodgers.
Right. Like, I don't know that there's a lot of players who are like, I'm following Derek Carr wherever he goes. Like, I don't see that that's happening. You know what I mean?
It's only Davante Adams, and he's still feeling this way because his preferred destinations, widely reported, have been Jets with Rodgers and Saints with Carr. Although Terrence in the comments here says the additional teams have been involved reportedly. I don't know who reported this, but Terrence or anyone else, if you guys have seen where this has been reported, let me know.
And can we talk about Dallas for 1 second? Like, first of all, somebody go wake up Jerry, because he's like, what it took to get CeeDee Lamb signed. By the time he thinks about it, he's already going to be signed somewhere else. Like, I don't see him going. I would be shocked in a good way for Dallas as an NFL fan. I'd be shocked if Dallas made a move, because he sleeps all through the offseason. Like, he's just like hibernating. So I would be shocked if the Dallas Cowboys got it together quickly, made a decision, and executed. I would be shocked. I would be happily shocked because I don't care. But, like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, Jerry Jones doesn't really make quick moves, is what I'm saying. And I feel
he
like
sits on his hands a lot.
Right? So I don't know that he would come to Dallas. And then are you going to piss CD off? Are you are you going to split target? I don't know. You know?
So this is the Bleacher Report piece that Terrence was talking about in the comments. So I pulled it up. Needed
and
a
maybe
fact
he
check.
stays.
No, he's right. I mean, Ian Rappaport, it was Ian Rappaport that said it. That's what Bleacher Report is citing here. And check this one out. So Rappaport listed, here, let me just highlight it. Rappaport listed the New Orleans Saints, Steelers, Ravens, Bills, Cowboys, and 49ers as other possible landing spots.
Yeah.
My question is Rappaport basing that off of what he's hearing, or is he just kind of putting 2 and 2 together? And if he's putting 2 and 2 together, what in fact is telling him that the 49ers would be interested in Davante Adams right now? I understand that in the off season, when all that stuff was going on with Brandon Ayuk, that made a ton of sense, because things just weren't working out with the negotiations at that time. You know, you wanted to see if you could get a trade for another wide receiver. That one made a lot of sense. I think the 49ers did explore that option. Raiders didn't seem like they weren't interested, or I don't know. But
Steph,
all we know is it didn't happen. Brandon Ayuk signed his 4-year extension. So to me, the ship has sailed. And if we're talking about the possibility of Brandon Ayuk being traded to the Raiders for Davante Adams to then come to the 49ers, that makes zero sense to me, because I don't think in the history of the sport have I seen a player get a long-term big money extension and then that same season get traded off for another player. That just doesn't happen. So I just don't see this possibility. And also you got to keep in mind, the 49ers would be giving up assets as well. If it's not for a player or Ayuk, they give up picks.
And Davante's 31. Let's not forget that. So if I'm signing Davante, it's a 1-year deal, my friend. And so to me, I'd be looking at a deal like, if I'm a team like the Ravens or the Bills, who actually are going to probably make a run, that makes more sense to me. But the Niners we've already put ourselves in, I think. I mean, even though we have space, I feel like we have bigger fish to fry. We've got we got a problem at right guard. I'm worried a little bit about
No, you mean right tackle.
I'm sorry. Yes. You get what I'm saying?
Don't come for Pooney.
No. I love Pooney. My bad. Did I say that? You know what I'm saying. I'm only one copy in. No, I love Pooney. He's thank God. Anyway,
I didn't want anyone coming for you.
Thank you. No, we love our Pooney, but you get what I'm saying. I feel like we have other issues that we need to work out. And I was even shocked that we got Ricky Purcell and as our number 1 pick. I'm glad we did. Don't get me wrong, but I was shocked. I really thought we were going to go for either somebody on the offensive line or on the defense, secondary. I was shocked by the wide receiver. Nobody I knew thought we're going to go get another wide receiver. That was not on the radar for me anyway.
Well, I think that just further signals that the 49ers don't need a Davante Adams. And we're also talking about how well Brock Purdy has been playing. And I think Brock Purdy has done a phenomenal job with what he has available to him in this offense today. So, and look, I don't want to make it seem like I'm scoffing at the idea of bringing in a future Hall of Fame wide receiver in Davante Adams. It would be silly to scoff at the idea, but I'm seeing it from the standpoint of it just doesn't make a lot of sense for the 49ers based on other needs like we're highlighting and based on the fact that they just signed Brandon Ayuk. They picked up Ricky Pearsall with their first round pick. Again, I think the ship has sailed. Davante
but if
Adams,
we come on here, we get that Adam Schefter breaking news that he's a Niner, I'll be happy.
I'm saying. I'm not. I'm
good with it. Don't get me wrong. He's a great player.
Exactly.
I just think the business side of it would be a little messy, and we've already got issues in the locker room. Like, I don't know. It to me, if you were a betting woman, Steph, who do you think will take him? Who do you think should take him?
Who do I think will? I think the Jets honestly make it happen because one, I think Aaron Rodgers has a lot of influence in that building, and I think Robert Saleh and that current regime right there, they're in kind of desperation mode to get it going, because I think like if they don't get it going and they don't make the playoffs this season, like
it's over.
Could very well be over. So yeah,
we'll bring Robert
you
back.
Gotta swing for the fences. Like you gotta go for it. And if Davante Adams, that's one of his preferred destinations, then I mean that makes it make a lot of sense. Although the Saints make sense to me too, because like they're also looking like a really good team right now, coming up in the NFC. Steelers would be surprising, although they are undefeated, right? So I think that could.
The Steelers aren't undefeated.
Oh, they lose this past weekend?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're 3-1.
I was shocked. The Colts beat them.
Yeah, so
that was surprising.
So 3-1, but they're still
they're
favorable
still
in their record and all that.
I mean, I agree with you.
And teams make sense too, aside from the Niners.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm with you. So this will be, something for us to keep our eye on for sure. But as the NFL turns, right?
Yeah, exactly. And a couple other reasons, good reasons that people are pointing out here in the chat. Leon says Mark Davis hates the Niners. He turns the Niners down in trades. That's probably what happened in the offseason, honestly, if the 49ers did approach them with a trade offer. AB says on the Netflix show, Adams said with his own mouth he doesn't block. Yeah, that's not going to fly out here.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, that's true too. Like, we know BA blocks at least.
Kyle's not going to put up with that crap.
Nah, not at all. And then, one thing I speculate, was it last week, Monica, that we were talking about Antonio Pierce saying it's time for us to make business decisions too, or something like that. Right. Do we feel like Davante Adams had something to do with that? Like, is involved in the business decisions? Like, did he, like, I don't know. Well, there's just some drama there, right?
Weird, because didn't he? So I saw a couple of clips where they thought it was somebody that wasn't Antonio Brown because the guy wasn't blocking. He wasn't playing. Like, literally, they're showing plays, and the guy would just like not get involved in the play, like hands off. Like, it was weird. But then this comes out about Davante, and didn't he get quote unquote hurt and couldn't play? So
yeah, Adams is hurt supposedly with a hamstring injury. So I think that's,
you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm hurt. I can't play. Yeah, I'm just saying this is kind of what we start hearing when players start exploring other options.
Well, we know the 49ers have bigger needs than wide receiver with the trade deadline coming up. What do you think are one of those needs?
That is a great question. I mean, I think I think everybody's talking about, maybe the O-line, a little bit of protection. Colton's a good guy. I get it. But is he, there's been, I don't know. I hate pulling certain names out there, but like, I don't know, a little bit more protection for Brock. That I don't know. What do you think? I mean, that's kind of.
I put right tackle on the list for sure. I think a lot of fans would. I thought it was interesting that the 49ers are working Spencer Burford. He used to be the right guard. They're working him at right tackle. He used to play right tackle in college, so he already has experience at the position. I think it's a little bit of the 49ers saying, well, okay, Burford, like, you lost your starting position. Like, we're going to let you work somewhere else to, give you that opportunity.
Yeah.
Because, you've earned it. He didn't necessarily deserve to lose a right guard position. Pooney has just been, like, that much better. But also looking at it from Colton McKivitz has been the clear weak spot of that offensive line. So giving some competition behind him, even just a little fire under him, could could turn up good results. So I thought that was interesting. I think that's indicative of the 49ers realizing that they could definitely improve the right tackle spot. I would have loved if they realized that in the offseason and addressed it then. Because what happens, Monica, is like offensive line is so thin throughout the league that there isn't going to be a team willing to trade a right tackle who is startable right away. Like you might be able to trade for like a developmental right tackle, you know, someone who
it's weird, right? You don't hear it often.
Because it's such a coveted position and it's so thin that team's not trying to trade that away. So while yes, I think right tackle. I think right tackle, if they could swing a trade for right tackle, that'd be great. I just don't see it happening. So I'd probably put my focus more so on either the defensive line or linebacker. I was having this conversation yesterday with Rob, and as I was talking through it, because I was totally prepared to say linebacker is kind of a bigger need, especially with some of the injuries like Fred right now, day to day. We'll talk about him more in a bit, but I'm looking at it from, well, Dre Greenlaw might be back sometime next month. Let's just say, maybe at the earliest next month. But like, so right now you kind of have a Band-Aid solution at linebacker. Are you okay with that Band-Aid solution, which hasn't been the greatest, right? But are you okay hanging on with that for like another month or so? Or do you feel like you need immediate help there and you feel like you need a trade before Dre Greenlaw comes back? Because then when Greenlaw comes back, like you're trying to figure out what to do with the player you just traded for, and you can make him the third linebacker. But you know, I'm just saying, like those are all the decisions that have to come with it, all the considerations. Defensive line, obviously with Javon Hargrave being out for the season, that's a need. I thought the defensive line looked great against the Patriots. We also got to consider it was the Patriots. So I think they probably still need some help, still need some better either depth or just someone who can be a starter on that line. But don't you
think we need a spark? Like if we're like, I feel like we need a spark.
What are you thinking?
Like I feel like when I think about our team right now, it feels very discombobulated. You know, it
on
just
what side
like
of the ball, offense or defense?
I feel like both, kind of. But I'm feeling like I'm gonna say in 2 weeks we got to get these division wins.
Yeah,
we got to win Cardinals. We got to get Seattle. We got to bring Seattle down. We don't know, exactly when CMC's coming back, and we got to play like he's not. I think we have to just kind of prepare ourselves that might be a possibility. And that's why I say, like, I feel like we need a spark of some sort. So whatever that trade is, I feel like it needs to be needs to bring the guys some energy. Does that make sense? Like, so
yeah. Is there a player out there that's up for a trade though? And again, it's early. In a couple of weeks, maybe there will be, when we're talking about some teams who, it's obvious that they're not going to make any type of run this year. That's when you see the fire sale start, and all that. That's how you end up with someone like Christian McCaffrey.
Who's on Cleveland? Who's on the Browns? That I need that fire sale.
The Browns look pretty bad. I mean, they got Amari Cooper, but he looks terrible. Like he's not even someone I would want to trade for right now.
That's the thing.
And then we go back to the discussion of wide receiver, like not a need for the 49ers.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't even, what we need, Steph? We need our guys back and healthy. That's what we need. Like our wins are on our roster or on the injured reserve. That's how I feel. That's the hard part, is like, we have this amazing team, Super Bowl contenders. Like, but right now, like, this one's playing, this one's not playing. Like, we need our guys all in the field at the same time, healthy, locked in, ready to go. And I think we have to go back to how we started the season before all these injuries. We have the roster. That's the thing. We have the roster. Let's get these guys healthy and let's make this run and let's go.
I agree. I mean, like, for the roster the 49ers have right now, there's no reason you should need anyone else, but it's
Right.
like
I know.
with injuries like that,
I know.
that
I hate that we're in
changes.
this position. That's what it
Yeah,
is. I hate that we're in this position.
yeah, of course. And AB has a great comment that I actually did want to discuss here. He says if CMC is going to be out for months, we need to explore RB2. Will Mason be able to hold up with all of this usage? If he goes down, we don't have a trusted RB2. Now, currently, the regular RB2 is the starter, and Jordan Mason.
Yeah.
So he's the RB1 right now. The RB2 is Isaac Guerrero. Isaac Guerrero has, he's had a interesting start to his, NFL career. Hasn't been ideal. And so I don't know if we trust Isaac Guerrero as the RB2. I don't think we would. God forbid, should anything happen to Jordan Mason, I would not feel great about the running
That's
back.
that's when we need, then we have a need.
Exactly.
Then we have a need.
So should the 49ers look at getting another running back now?
Remind me, Mitchell.
Mitchell's gone. I mean, he
left.
He went to IR,
what happened?
So
when
he got hurt again.
Okay, but how long? Like how long? Like I'm just saying.
He's on IR. I think he's out for the season. He's out for the season.
Okay, that's why I was like, okay, I remember he got hurt, but I don't remember how long it was.
Yeah.
Well, that's, I hate to say this, but God forbid that happens. Then there's our need, right? Like now we have a serious need that needs to be handled. But yeah, I think that's a great point. I mean, we better start looking for a running back too. Maybe we just answered our own question.
But I like what Ty says too. He says, give Guerrero some snaps. You get better by playing. Like, don't lose hope on a rookie already. We know there's going to be a learning curve. We know there's going to be some mistakes for any young player. Let them ride it out,
happen.
Yeah. Let them know that you still have confidence in them. And that helps build up that confidence in themselves, and in turn will maybe help them play a little bit better. So I'm not ready to give up on Guerrero. Hopefully Kyle Shanahan hasn't either. We know Kyle Shanahan gives these young players a pretty short leash. So we'll see if he gets any involvement. Now it seems like right now it's more out of necessity whenever Jordan Mason needs a break. But even then it's just 1-2 snaps. I'm worried that Jordan Mason at some point is gonna burn out or get hurt, because he's getting that CMC treatment right now where he's getting a crazy workload.
Right. We're running him we are.
So they need to be careful with that as well. So
thanks, Ty. Now I'm
Great
more
comment.
stressed.
But the 49ers do have Patrick Taylor Jr., also a rookie, but I believe he's a rookie at least. And he looked good in training camp. Again, he's been buried a little bit further on the depth chart, but he definitely is someone who I think if they gave him the opportunity, I wouldn't feel terrible about that either. It's just, I think with this team, we've come to expect household names. And if we don't have that, we're always wanting someone else. But I think some of those reserve guys could step up. Now, as far as defensive line and wide receiver, the 49ers trying to bolster that in other ways. This week, they signed linebacker Jalen Graham to the 53-man roster, and they signed defensive lineman Jonathan Garvin and wide receiver Tariq Owens to their practice squad, all of which were with the team this offseason. So that's
right.
T.O. We got T.O. back in the building.
We got him.
But let's get to some other injury updates here, right? The list is long, Monica. And so this is from yesterday's practice, okay? So Wednesday practice, Fred Warner with his ankle injury did not participate. Remember, he was out for the second half of Sunday's game. George Kittle dealing with a rib injury. Remember, he returned to the game, but he was a do not practice yesterday in Wednesday's practice. Yetur Gross-Matos dealing with a knee injury, also did not practice. Jacob Cowing also did not practice. And then you got Jordan Elliott, Talanoa Hufanga, Kevin Givens, Demetrius Flanagan Fowles, all listed as limited on Wednesday. That's a good sign for those guys. And then you got Ricky Pearsall, who was eligible to be activated from the NFI list, but Kyle Shanahan said he's just not ready yet. Kalia Davis, who is in short-term IR, his practice window was opened, so he rejoined the team on Wednesday. And hopefully we see Kalia Davis soon, because he can help bolster up some of that interior of that line as well. Now, one thing I want to discuss, though, Monica, is the fact that the 49ers play 2 games in 8 days. And we talk about the importance of these next 2 games, divisional opponents. It would be smart to be smart with Fred and with Kittle with these injuries. So I'm okay with holding those guys out in a Wednesday practice, easing them in slowly, and just making sure they're as healthy as they can be going into Sunday. I would hate for either of those guys to be held out on Sunday, but you got to think bigger picture. So I think it makes sense to be careful with those guys.
Well, I mean, I agree. And I think that, I mean, I don't like to take any game lightly, but I would say if we're up, take those guys out. You know what I mean? Fourth quarter, if we're up a decent amount, like, I'm just taking those guys out and letting them rest. I don't need, that's just, I know he doesn't like to do that. It seems like Kyle doesn't usually do that, but I'm hoping he thinks long-term.
Yeah, and it seems like they are so far, so that's a good thing. Ty Acid, Kittle hurt his ribs on the touchdown catch. I don't know if Kyle mentioned which play it occurred on, but that would make sense, right? Like, that was a crazy acrobatic catch. You got 3 guys around you that, maybe one of them landed on him. I don't know. But that's what he's dealing with. The good thing is he did return to the game, so that gives me some optimism for him being able to play Sunday. But yeah, definitely the 49ers trying to manage both of those players, important players, this week. Now, going back to Ricky Pearsall and Kyle Shanahan saying that, he's not ready yet. Sorry, I had to reload this page. Oh, my internet. Here we go. Okay, so the full quote from Kyle Shanahan was, quote, "Just don't feel he's ready this week. I know he is really close. When he's good to go, himself and the medical staff will be pumped to have him back. Ricky is a hell of a player," end quote. I do want to give people the solace of knowing that, Kyle Shanahan did say it's not his it's not his shoulder that's still giving him an issue. So just so everyone knows, that shoulder injury was kind of nagging him throughout the offseason, through training camp. It seems like that's behind him now. But whatever he's not ready with right now, it's probably more so having to do with, his shooting. And like, I want to remind people too, it might not be just the physical standpoint of that. It could be the mental aspect of it all. One thing I appreciate about the 49ers is that they gave him a lot of resources in-house to kind of deal with that, the trauma of that. And so I guess I just don't want people to like speculate or just be like, oh, like, be angry about this. Like, we got to be patient with something as serious as this that Pearsall went through. And so, yeah, we're going to give him that time. The 49ers are going to give him that time. And when he is back, as Kyle said, like, we're going to be pumped to have him.
100%. There's going to be some tears shed when he walks on that field.
Yeah.
It's going to be an emotional moment for, I think, for even some of the fans, for his family, for him,
for sure,
for his teammates. Yeah.
I
mean, what do they say? Only 2 people out of 100 would make it out of that. I mean, that it's a
lot. It's a lot.
Crazy.
The fact, I think we look at the fact that he was already in the building like a couple days after it happened.
Yeah.
We're like, oh wow, like, he's already doing so great. Well, like Ty says, he could take all the time he needs, whether it's, from the physical aspect of it or the mental. We're here for him, and we'll be excited when he does return to the field.
And by the way, when I was at the opener versus the Jets on my way back, I was at the airport and I saw this lady, and she had a little bit of 49er gear on, and I really liked what she had on. I don't remember what it was, and I just mentioned it, and I probably walked by and be like, bang, bang, something like that. We ended up talking, and it turns out she's best friends with Ricky's mom.
Oh, wow.
And we talked about it, and she says, I was the one that got the call from his mom, literally screaming at the top of her lungs that he got shot. And we had this, like, I probably spent 10 to 15 minutes talking to her, and she just said how, and just hearing it from like the family, because she's been friends with them forever, and she was just saying, like, honestly, Monica, he's such a good guy. Like, he really is a good guy.
He seems like it. Yeah.
And she said, she was heartbroken what the family went through. And so it was interesting just to hear a little bit from the person that from a person who's close to the family. So I'm excited for his return. I think everybody is. And like I said, I think it'll be great to see. And I will not be surprised if there's some tears shed just out of pure happiness and emotion for somebody who's come back so quick after something so scary.
I was at the home opener in week 1, and the 49ers, as you guys probably know, did the awesome little ceremony to include the sergeant who helped Ricky Pearsall in those moments, and to honor her. And I shed some tears as well, because I was like, who's cutting onions in here? It was just, so we're all going to be patiently excited when he does return. A lot of emotions to be felt by everyone involved, especially those closest to him. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Now we look forward to 49ers against the Cardinals. We talked about Brock Purdy at the top of the show. Did you know how awesome Brock Purdy has been against the Cardinals in his career? Just going back to last year, he was 34 of 46. Let's see how many yards. 525 yards between the two games, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, QB rating of 150.45. And the 49ers scored 80 points between those two games against the Cardinals last year. And the 49ers have beat the Cardinals in their last 4 matchups, looking to make it 5. For some reason, even going back to the tap dancer we were talking about earlier, Happy Feet, Jimmy Garoppolo, even with him, like, the 49ers have had a lot of success against the Cardinals, and that is with the Kyler Murray Cardinals, right? So, what I find interesting, obviously, the Cardinals got blown out by the Commanders last week. You guys didn't know the offensive coordinator for the Commanders is Cliff Kingsbury. And so in a little bit of irony there,
the old head coach.
So revenge game by by Cliff Kingsbury, just a little bit. And I don't know, the Commanders look pretty great. So I'm kind of just looking at Kyler Murray and the Cardinals a little sideways, because I'm like, are you the real issue? Like, I actually was looking at, as I always do, was looking at Cardinals Reddit. I look at the Reddit pages for Trash Talk Thursday. I'm going to put it up on the screen right here so we all can see. And I'm going to read through some of these really quick, right? This is also a fan base right now that is reeling, just like some of the other few that we've matched up with, like the Rams and the Patriots going into this matchup. Mad Nuts says, my logic is we smoked the Rams, 49ers lost to Rams, so this will be an easy W for us. Another user says, idea, let's all be delusional and believe we are going to whoop San Francisco next week. It's probably better than what we are doing, and maybe the football gods will take notice if we are delusional enough. Another user said, anything can happen, I suppose, but why the F would we beat the Niners when we have a SH word, O-line, non-existent defensive front, and a bad OC? I'm just hoping we don't get the 40-14 again. And this last comment from Blake Ramsey says, "We have scored a touchdown on every opening drive this season. The problem is Drew's play calling on the fly." So this last one, I really want to focus on because I thought that was interesting. So they think their offensive, or their OC is the problem.
Interesting.
Right? You see, you're sensing a pattern with the Cardinals with Kyler Murray as their quarterback. Because I remember like them kind of turning on Cliff Kingsbury too, right? Like he had a hot start and then things fell apart. In this, how the Cardinals are looking so far, according to Cardinal fans themselves, they look great on the opening drive, first couple drives, but after that, they can't really adjust after the defense adjusts. Like they don't have any counters after that, like stops working. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. They've had, I mean, to be honest, and I'm just being honest, like my whole career of being a Niner fan, like whenever we play the Cardinals, it's not a game I ever want to go to be honest. It's just, and when I say that, it's because I don't live in the area. Like I'd have to fly, like it's a whole thing. You know what I mean? And it's never one that I go, yeah, I'm going to circle that one, you know? Because I kind of always check them off, to be honest with you. I always I hate to sound cocky, but I usually just kind of check it off the list. Like, okay, W, you know?
I mean, you're not wrong. I think we've all done that, right? Like we all kind of pencil it in. But that's what scares me.
That those are the ones that scare you, because then you all of a sudden, right? I'm just saying, it's crazy.
So me and Monica were kind of discussing this before we went live, and I was pointing out the fact that, you know, the Cardinals are coming off of a game. They just got blown out by the Commanders, right? If you guys recall, the Rams, the week before the 49ers played them, got blown out by the Cardinals. So I think when you look at a team that's coming off a blowout loss, the mindset of that team is going to be, I think, just a little bit different, because it's going to be influenced by having lost so badly and wanting to make sure that does not happen again. So this is that's one point to not overlook the Cardinals in this game, just like the 49ers shouldn't have overlooked the Rams in that game, because I think you're going to get the Cardinals' best effort. I think they could clearly put up points. You know, it's just that the Commanders put up way more than them in that game. Yeah. Their defense is a different story, but, you know, I still think the 49ers would be wise to, one, not overlook the Cardinals, and also finish this game. Like, the first side of being able to finish and put the game away, do it.
To me, this looks like the game from last week. Like, can we just get out with the win and no injuries? I'll be happy. Like, I would love to see a great game. I would love for us to see special teams, you know, improve. I'd love to see some things that are ramping up to get to the Seattle Seahawks, because after Seattle, then it's Dallas, then it's the Chiefs. So this is how I look at these games. Like, this is where we need to clean up everything, both sides of the ball, and be prepared for like a playoff vibe come the end of October. That's and those injuries, you know, hopefully we can get out of there with some healthy, a healthy win and some healthy players. Does that make sense? Like, these two games are going to be pivotal. Yeah.
That needs to be the mantra for every game. Like, let's just get out of here and get the win and be healthy at the end of it, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I agree with that. Obviously, the 49ers are a good enough team to be able to beat, like, 99% of the league and maybe all of it. Like, they're talented enough. They should beat everyone. But, you know, sometimes they don't always put it all together. They're figuring things out. It's early in the season, so some uncharacteristic things start to happen. But it's week 5 now. You're through the first quarter of the season. It's time to really lock in, especially, like we said, we're talking about 2 divisional games coming up. It's a short swing onto Seattle after that on the road. But you don't want to get too ahead of yourself either, right? Like you don't want to be looking ahead at like Seattle already. Gotta take it one game at a time. And that game here is the Cardinals. So yeah, how much more time you got, Monica?
I got a couple minutes and then I got to take mom to the airport.
All right, so let's wrap things up here with our $10 trivia. For everyone that joins us on Trash Talk Thursday, you guys know that we do a fun trivia segment here. I ask you guys a question. You guys in the live chat, put your answers in. The question today is, what 49ers running back holds the team's all-time record for kickoff returns with 217? This is a tough one, so put your guesses in the chat. I don't want to see any question marks after your answer. You got to lock those answers in. So anyone who puts those in and gets it correct, you're going to win $10. But get your guesses in. In the meantime, me and Monica are going to give our score predictions. What do you got for me this week?
Oh God, I haven't even thought about it, but I'm gonna go with I do think like I did. I don't know what I did last week, but I believe I said we'd win by 10 or more. So I got that one. I just don't remember the scores. I'm gonna go with 31-17.
31-17. All right, I'm gonna write this down. I don't have my regular.
I'll write it down too. I got it.
My stuff's all over the place, but all right, 31-17. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna go 32-27.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be uncomfortable, but as long as the 49ers finish it, they should be able to win this game, right? We know Brock Purdy has some stellar games against the Cardinals. All right, guys, continue to get your guesses in. All right, do you have a guess, Monica?
49ers running back holds an all-time record. Man, you always get me on these. I can't even think.
It was a really tough one. I
really have no idea. I really have no idea, and I don't know how far back you go either. So I can't wait for the answer.
And the answer is
Dexter Carter. I would have never got that.
Tanisha, you got it right. Second week in a row. You know
Tanisha's
the drill.
On point.
Yeah,
she's
on a roll.
Tanisha, make sure you follow Football is Sexy. We need more women like you on the page. Let's go. And also to all the men out there, follow Football is Sexy. Download our free mobile app. There's pick'ems in there, breaking news. It's the only app to ever teach a game. We got a lot of stuff in there, so make sure y'all download that as well.
Yeah, you guys know what to do. Football is Sexy on Instagram. Oh, she already follows you. She knows the vibes. There we go.
Look at you. All right. I gotta follow my personal page because I want to follow you back, girl. Yes.
All right, we're gonna get Monica out of here. But Tanisha, make sure you send your request for those $10, and I'll get that over to you. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you everyone in the live chat for participating in that. Everyone that tuned in, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And as always, like we mentioned, follow Football is Sexy on Instagram. Download the Football is Sexy app. But for now, folks, have a good rest of your Thursday. From me, from Monica, peace.
Peace. Bang, bang. Let's go.